Have you ever wondered why the world seems to reward the men who don't seem to care, while the ones who try the hardest are forgotten? Most of us are taught a simple, comfortable lie: if you're kind, loyal, and honest, women will desire you and the world will respect you. But I've learned that the world doesn't respond to your hidden intentions. It responds to your presence. It doesn't see your truth, it sees your presentation. This isn't about being fake or manipulative. It's about understanding a deeper psychological gravity that most men will never grasp. It's about shifting from being liked to being unforgettable. I still remember a night that changed everything for me. I was sitting in a bar with a friend, just talking and laughing, when I saw her. It felt like time stopped. My heart started pounding, and a voice in my head screamed, "You have to go talk to her." But immediately, a flood of other voices took over. I wonder if she's with someone. I have no idea what to say. Maybe she doesn't want to be bothered. The main thought that kept circling was the crushing feeling of regret I knew I'd have if I walked away. Then I paused and asked myself a simple question: what's the worst that could happen? So, I got up. I walked over to her, and I said exactly what was on my mind: "Hey, how's it going?" I felt like I'd regretted all night if I didn't come over and say hi. In that instant, two things happened. First, a huge weight lifted off my shoulders. I wasn't putting pressure on myself to be cool or to say the perfect line. I was just letting my natural thoughts flow, and it felt right. Second, she loved it. We started talking, flirting, and she got us free drinks from the bartender. Everything went perfectly, all because I stopped trying to act with fake confidence and simply let her see me as I was. Since that night, it's the only way I approach anyone. I don't try to act cool or force anything. I just say what's on my mind. This authenticity, however, is only one half of the equation. Because what gives that authenticity its power? It's the unshakable foundation it's built upon. This is where most men fall. They think love, kindness, and authenticity are enough. They believe that if they give more, show more, and open up more, she'll value it. But what happens when love is always there, always giving, always soft? It loses its weight. It becomes background noise. Safe, yes, but also forgettable. Because what is freely given without challenge holds no power. This brings us to a darker, more uncomfortable truth, one inspired by the pragmatism of Machiavelli but viewed through the lens of Stoic self-mastery. He famously said it is much safer to be feared than loved. Now, this doesn't mean being cruel or intimidating. That's weakness trying to look like strength. Real fear in this context is the fear of loss. It's when a man has boundaries so firm that a woman feels them without him saying a word. He doesn't need to raise his voice or argue. He simply moves away when his values are crossed, and the silence teaches her what his words never could. This man doesn't chase. He doesn't explain why he was hurt or beg for her to stay. He simply lets her feel his absence. And that absence hits harder than any emotional outburst. The moment she realizes he won't break his own rules just to keep her, the game changes. She knows that if she disrespects him, she loses him. And that is when simple attraction can evolve into a deep, lasting respect. It's not because he gave her more, but because he was willing to give nothing when his values were crossed. That is the fear of losing a man she can't control. And here's the secret: most people, men and women, aren't obsessed with being loved by someone needy. They are captivated by the person who doesn't need their love to feel complete. This is why women so often chase the man who is willing to walk away, why they respect the one who doesn't fold under pressure. He wasn't mean or cruel, he was just unshakable. He had something 99% of men don't, standards that weren't for sale. So, when we say it is safer to be feared than loved, we're not rejecting love. We are teaching that respect must come first. Without the fear of loss, love becomes lazy. The deepest desire comes not from what you give, but from what you're willing to take away if it isn't valued. She may enjoy your company, but if she doesn't fear losing you, you are replaceable. But if she knows, deep down, that you will not stay where you aren't respected, you will never have to ask for her attention again. She'll be the one fighting to earn yours. This isn't cruelty. It's psychological gravity. This gravity is built by mastering your image. Not by faking it, but by framing your reality. Humans don't respond to raw truth, they respond to what feels true. You can have deep values and noble intent, but if you show up with weak posture, an uncertain tone, and anxious energy, no one will feel your worth. Female attraction doesn't begin with facts, it begins with perception. She's not analyzing your logic, she's scanning your energy. How you walk, how you speak, how you react when tested. So, if you don't control how you're seen, her emotions, her biases, her past will define you for her. This isn't about lying. It's about framing. When you feel unsure, stand like a man who is certain. When you feel anger, speak like a man who controls fire. When you want to chase her, do nothing. Let her come toward you. In stillness, there is power. In mystery, there is attraction. Let her see 80% of who you are and leave the rest behind your eyes. Let her imagination fill in the gaps. What she creates in her mind will often be far more powerful than anything you could say. Mystery is magnetic. Humans don't chase what they fully understand, they chase what they can't quite grasp. This is how obsession begins. Not with oversharing, but with silence. Not with convincing, but with presence. Stop explaining yourself. Stop trying to be understood. Start shaping your image, because in a world ruled by perception, your image is the entire game. To navigate this, you must be both the lion and the fox. Every woman will test you, not always to hurt you, but to see if you will break. She'll shift her tone, pull away, go cold, then warm, then cold again. She'll say one thing and do another. All of it is to see one thing: do you collapse, or do you hold your ground? Most men don't even know they're being tested. They think she's confused or emotional, so they try to fix things with words. And just like that, they lose. The powerful man is both a lion and a fox. The lion is power. He doesn't chase or explain. He creates boundaries with his silence and commands the room without raising his voice. The fox is intelligence. He doesn't react to bait. He doesn't reveal his hand. He listens and acts when the moment is right. If you're only the lion, strong and forceful, she'll find a way to provoke you, and your power becomes unstable noise. If you're only the fox, clever and calculating, she'll feel your charm but not your spine, and without that fire, she won't trust you to lead. But if you are both, if she sees strength in your stillness and calculation in your silence, she won't know how to predict you. That uncertainty is what hooks her deeper than words ever could. When she's emotional, be the fox, watch, don't react. Let her test crash against your calm. When she crosses a line, be the lion, not with anger, but with a stillness that says, "This is my boundary, and I will not move." That's the man she respects. Not because you yell, but because you don't flinch. This brings us to a powerful principle: injuries must be inflicted all at once, but benefits should be given little by little. When someone crosses your boundary, you don't react emotionally. You act. One clean, cold move. Silence, distance, withdrawal. No shouting, no guilt-tripping, just the sudden loss of your presence. That absence stings because there's nothing for her to push against. She's left alone with her own thoughts. Her brain starts spinning: what did I do wrong? Why did he stop talking? That silence becomes a mirror. On the other side comes the reward. When she's loyal, warm, and shows respect, you give her something small, rare, and earned. A look, a subtle smile, a genuine compliment. Then, nothing. You don't shower her with love. You train her nervous system like a casino. She doesn't know when the next reward is coming, so she keeps playing. What makes it addictive isn't the size of the reward, but the unpredictable timing. You punish once, with a clean break of silence. And you reward slowly, with just enough to keep her hungry. This isn't cruelty, it's discipline. It's calm control. Pain given fast is remembered. Pleasure given slow is craved. You're not just a man, you're a standard she can't stop striving for. If this idea of building unshakable respect is resonating with you, if you're feeling that a deeper instinct is waking up, then take a moment to subscribe to the Stoic Core and like this video. It's a signal, not to me, but to yourself, that you're done begging for affection and you're ready to build true psychological gravity instead of chasing validation. Let's continue. To build this gravity, you must learn to watch. Most men look at a woman's body. A Machiavellian man, a Stoic man, watches her behavior. He isn't distracted by beauty. He observes with silence and precision. He notices how she speaks to a man she respects versus one she controls. He tracks the subtle shifts in her voice, her gaze, her posture. And then, when the moment is right, he drops one line, calm and without emotion, "You speak differently when he's around." Or, "You laugh, but it doesn't feel real." No judgment, no tone. Just silence. In that moment, her reality shifts. That wasn't flattery. It was a truth she wasn't ready to hear, from a man who didn't ask for her approval. Her mind will replay that moment. How did he know that? What else is he seeing? Now, she doesn't feel admired, she feels exposed. Not by force, but by your sheer presence. You simply watched what everyone else missed and said what no one else dared to. That's psychological dominance. It's quiet power that leaves echoes in her mind. She will forget compliments, but she will never forget the man who saw her mask and named it. This leads to the power of absence. If you're always available, always responding, you become predictable. And predictable is forgettable. But when you disappear without warning or drama, you become unforgettable. You create a void, and the human mind cannot resist a void. It has to fill it. When you go silent, her mind speaks louder than ever. She replays every conversation, every glance, every word you didn't say. She's no longer enjoying your attention, she's haunted by your absence. You don't disappear out of anger, you use it when your value is being taken for granted. Absence only works when presence had power. And when you return, calm, unfazed, unmoved, she will greet you with a mix of curiosity and fear, because she knows you can walk away at any time and not flinch. That's gravity. It doesn't chase, it pulls. Ultimately, if you want to live in her mind forever, don't just be a man she liked. Be the moment her world changed. Be the shift in her story. Women don't remember all the men they date, but they never forget the man who triggered something deep inside them. This isn't about gifts or looks. It's about impact. Be the first man who didn't chase her. The first one who set a standard and actually walked away when it was crossed. The one who challenged her beliefs, made her pause and question who she thought she was. And then you left. Not bitter, not begging, just gone. But not really. Because in her mind, you stayed. You became the man tied to her transformation. That kind of presence doesn't fade. She will never forget the version of herself that was born after meeting you. Let's be clear. These aren't just lines or tricks. They are psychological structures built to press deep, hidden switches in the human mind. Switches that shift a person from logic to obsession, from control to craving. Most men try to get attention. They joke, they chase, they perform. But what you're building here is presence. The kind of presence that doesn't just make her laugh, it makes her pause, think, and feel. You are not here to entertain her. You are not her fan, her follower, or her therapist. You are the man who shifts her center of gravity. You create silence. You create mystery. You create a space in her mind that she can't fill with anyone else. This is not softness, this is precision. And most men will never understand it because they are too addicted to approval to see the structure behind emotion. But you are not most men. You are here to take the wheel. You are here to become the kind of man who doesn't need to win her over, because his very character is the prize.